So you want to hear about my plan? You nosy motherfuckers, I ain't gonna tell you shit. Alright. Because you asked so damn nicely, I will create this whole YouTube channel for you. I'll lay out my entire plan. I will show you the ways, young Padawan. But I'm gonna break this down in a few ways. This specific video here will be mainly about just my training. We're gonna be focusing on 3 things. The rest, when we talk about diet and the rest of the lifestyle or whatever, they'll be on the next videos. This one here will focus on 3 things. My training split. You know, what am I gonna be specializing in? How I'm gonna be specializing in? We're talking body parts here. Next one is going to be my training intensifiers or my training intensity. How I track to make sure that my plan or my workouts stay intense and how I keep on ramping up that intensity. And the last one is gonna be my exercise selection. Why I choose the exercise that I choose. Now, this video is gonna take a few days for me to actually finish, and so you're gonna see me in different places. Don't get used to this beautiful background. I know I gotta do something about adding, you know, maybe something to the background here or anything. We're gonna be in different places just to, you know, just because this motherfucker's cold as hell in here, dude. We're losing daytime, and frankly, I've been trying to record this motherfucker for so long that my camera is losing battery already. The next time you see me here, we're gonna be going through the program layout, right? I'm gonna have a nice whiteboard and I'm gonna lay it out exactly for you guys what I'm gonna be doing day 1 and on. Now, none of this is going to be set in stone. My program changes all the fucking time. Whether it's working, whether it's now, or whether I'm just getting simply bored, or whether my coach tells me to change something up. As of right now, I think I have it figured out. Now, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as of right now, I like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, and you know, hopefully you tag along and you see how these next 20 weeks will go. I'm in my car now. I also noticed that I finished the last clip. It almost sounded like I was ending the video. I'm not. Anyways, this is where we're gonna start talking about the program specifically, right? We're gonna, in particular, talk about specializing. So I mentioned the word specializing a bit earlier. What that pretty much means is, what is the focus of the mesocycle? In other words, the program that I'm gonna be building. You wanna emphasize muscles that are considered your weak points. For example, my whole posterior chain, so everything behind me, so my back, my glutes, and my hamstrings, have been a weak point of mine that I still need to make sure that I constantly emphasize. My arms are also a weak point, so I want to also make sure that I have some emphasis on my arms during my program. So how do we go about this? You pretty much want to make sure that whatever muscles you're going to be specializing in, you just do more of throughout the week. The way that you measure that volume is by how many exercises you're doing and how many sets per exercise you're doing a week. Your total sets per week pretty much is what gives you the volume that muscle is getting. The higher the volume, the more you're pretty much emphasizing a muscle in a program. Now, this doesn't mean that you're just not training the other muscles. Unless they're an extreme strong part that is just completely overshadowing the rest of your physique, you want to still make sure that they're in your program. The volume is just going to be a lot less to allow your body to push all the nutrients and recover the other muscles a little bit better or faster. So you basically want to give your body the least amount of homework as possible so that you can make sure that it focuses on the muscles that you want to get more attention. Now, for example, if you want to bring up your back and you completely trash your back, and then the next day you completely trash your chest, and the next day you completely trash your legs, and the next day you completely trash your arms, your body's gonna have a really hard time keeping up and making sure that your back, which is the body part that you want to grow, actually gets all the attention, because it has all these other things that it needs to recover. So by still training these other body parts, but keeping their volume low, it is able to give more attention to the body part that you want all that attention to go to. So for me, like I said, my whole posterior chain, my back, the width and the thickness, my arms, my glutes, and my hamstrings are the biggest points that I need to bring up. So I'll break it down for you guys on how I'm gonna be doing that. This is the nice whiteboard that I told you guys that I was going to have. Now this is only upper body, the way that I set it up. Once I'm done with all explaining all this, I'll wipe it down and then I'll put up my glutes and my hamstrings. So the way that we're gonna do this is specifically starting with my back here. We're gonna be training back 2 times a week on day 3 and day 6 of the program. There are 6 days to my mesocycle or my program. On day 3, we're gonna have 3 exercises, and in those 3 exercises, we're gonna do 10 sets for the day. On day 6, we're gonna have 4 exercises, and we're gonna do 10 sets for that day, which in total per week, I'm gonna be doing 7 exercises and 20 sets for my back. And I'll explain my whole split and how we're gonna divide day 3 and day 6 a little bit later. Now, my next body part that we're specializing in is my biceps here. So we're gonna be training my biceps 2 times a week as well. We're gonna be training it on day 3 and day 5. Day 3 is also my back day, so I'm gonna be throwing 2 exercises of biceps to the end of my back day. Those 2 exercises, I'm gonna be doing 4 each, so I'm gonna be having 8 sets on day 3. On day 5, I'm gonna also be having 2 exercises that day, and I'm gonna be doing 8 sets, which my total is gonna come to 4 exercises, 16 sets per week. Now, as for my triceps, again, same thing. We're gonna be training triceps 2 times a week. On day 2, I'm gonna be doing 2 exercises, 6 sets for day 2. Day 5, I'm gonna be doing 2 exercises and 10 sets for day 5. For the week, it's gonna be 4 exercises and 16 sets of triceps. Okay? So, like I said, I'm gonna be breaking these down. I'm gonna be showing you how it fits into an actual split, and where I'm gonna be putting exercises and how I'm gonna be actually breaking this down per day. I'm gonna wipe this down and I'm gonna put my glutes and my hamstrings on here. So hold on one second. Ta-da! Glutes and hamstrings. Now we're breaking down the lower body. For my glutes, again, 2 times per week. We're gonna be doing it day 1 and day 4. Day 1, we're gonna be doing 3 exercises, 10 sets for the day. Day 4, we're gonna be doing 2 exercises, 7 sets for the day. That's gonna put us at 6. Huh? That's a 5. Hold on a second. So that's gonna put us 5 exercises, 17 sets for the week. Now for hamstrings, we're gonna be doing the same thing again, 2 times per week, day 1 and day 4. Same as obviously your glutes here, we're gonna have 2 leg days per week. We got 1 exercise on day 1, we're gonna be doing 4 sets for that exercise. On day 4, we're gonna be doing 2 exercises. We're gonna be doing 3 sets per exercise, so we got 6 sets that day. We got 3 exercises, 10 sets per week. I find this fucking cap. My wife is gonna kill me. Ow. Okay, so now this is my starting volume for the mesocycle. So these are only going to increase if, number 1, I'm responding well, and number 2, I'm recovering pretty easily. I can start adding more volume. I also want to talk about why some exercises or some muscles I have more sets for the week, and some I have less for the week. Part of it is because I'm prioritizing some muscles over the other. Like I said, I want to give more attention to some over the others. But the other reason is also because of the recovery rate and what I know about my own body and how I recover. Number 1, for back, we had a total of 20 sets per week. Again, this is a starting volume. Now, this is relatively high for me, but I've been prioritizing my back for a while now, and I know that I can recover from 20 sets per week if it's only just 2 days that I'm training it. I give myself enough room between both workouts that I can recover nicely. The other thing is that even if I'm not fully recovered, I'm hitting different parts of my back. So the first day that I'm hitting my back, I'm gonna be focusing more on my width. And the second day that I'm hitting my back, I'm gonna be focusing more on my thickness. So that also allows more volume because now I'm doing two different types of movement. And there's just so many muscles that take up the back that we want to make sure we're hitting all the angles, vertical motions and horizontal motions as well. And as for my triceps and my biceps, I'm going to be splitting them throughout the week a little bit more. I'm going to be training my biceps with my back a little bit. I'm going to be training my triceps with my chest and my shoulders a little bit. And then I'm going to have its own designated arm day as well. So I'm going to be hitting it throughout the week a little bit more, even though I'm still hitting them 2 times a week. They're going to be hit with other muscle groups as well. So that's going to allow me to squeeze more volume throughout the week. So I'm not just centered on one day and trying to get all 16 sets all in a single day of each muscle group. And I recover relatively well from my arms. They get sore, but then within a few days, I'm pretty good to hit them again. This is something that didn't start that way. So once I learned to train my biceps, I wasn't able to just hammer them and then be able to train them again 2 days later. This is something that I was able to just recently start actually being able to volumize a little bit more because my body started getting a little bit more used to the volume and being able to recover from it. Now the other 2 body parts, I got the glutes and my hamstrings. For my glutes, again, we're doing a lot of volume on there, but we're not doing up to 20, up to 20 sets like my back. We're doing a little less than that. And I'm splitting it between 2 days still, right? So with the 17 working sets, I want to make sure that I'm also hitting all 3 motions that build my glutes. I want to make sure that I'm still doing some squatting motions. I want to make sure that I'm doing some hip thrust motions. And I also want to make sure that I'm doing some abduction motions. So within those 3, there's a lot of different exercises that I can start, that I can put into my program and be able to divide it equally or divide it as I see fit throughout the program to be able to accomplish the 17 sets per week. Now the very interesting one is my hamstrings. Now my hamstrings are the one that have the least amount of volume. And that's because hamstrings normally don't need to be hammered a lot. They just need to be hammered effectively and really heavy. Specifically, being able to do those hinging motions like an RDL or like a good morning with really heavy weight and staying within those lower rep ranges seems to work best for hamstrings. So I'm gonna try that out and I'm gonna see what I can accomplish. Now my hamstrings stay a little sore for longer, so that's why I want to make sure that the volume that I give it is low enough to be able to recover so that I can hit it that second day as hard as I possibly can. Day 1, I am just doing one exercise and it's just a curling motion. So it's not too taxing to my hamstrings, but 4 working sets of laying leg curls fires up my hamstrings pretty well, and I'm able to recover relatively fast from it. Now on the second day, on day 4, is when I'm really gonna hammer them with 2 different movements, a curl and also a hinging motion. And that hinging motion is just the one that I'm really want to focus on, making sure that I go really heavy and really tax the hamstrings as much as possible, because then I'll have a few days to recover to be able to get back on that day 1. So that's the explanation of what I'm specializing and why I'm specializing that. Now what I want to get into is my actual split and how I'm going to be breaking down my week and what my days are actually kind of going to look like. Oh no, it's all this shadow. This shadow seems to be really. I'm not digging the shadow. As you can tell, it's taking me forever to fucking do this. The sun is coming down and cramping my fucking style. This is not the vibe. We gotta. Dang it. We go a little field trip. Go in the store, probably think I'm a fucking psychopath. What the fuck is this guy fucking doing? He's just parking in this parking lot. And he's not fucking doing anything. Is this shadow? This is gonna be a lot better. Okay. Oh, looks like if I park in the parking lot over, we park in the parking lot over here. Whoa, would you look at that difference? Okay. Hey, now we can do this. This is the split, fellas and fellettes. Fellas and fell. All right. Day 1 through day 6. Day 1, legs, number 1. The way that I wrote the muscles on here is the priority in which I want to prioritize my workout. We're going to start with some glutes that day. Just a little bit of glutes just to get them really fired up. We're going to go into hamstrings just to kind of really start drawing blood into the hamstrings, specifically with the hamstring curl that I was just telling you guys about. And then we're going to finish up with quads. And here goes to show that, again, I'm still hitting the muscles that I'm not specializing in. They're just really unprioritized, right? So this quads here, I'm not going to be doing leg extensions or anything that's necessarily targeting my quads a lot, because they are a very strong point of mine right now. But this is going to be more of a squatting motion to be able to take into account the glutes and hamstring work that I already did. When I finished my leg days with a big compound squatting motion, after I already did my glutes and my hamstrings, they're pre-exhausted, so they seem to get more pumped and more tired by the end of the workout. So it helps to emphasize these guys a little bit more, but I still have my quads to help me with that, to assist with that pushing movement or that squatting movement. Day 2 is going to be push. I hate to label my days legs, push, pull. That's why I like to also break it down like this, because I don't like to call it push. I just don't know. I don't know, but it's going to be a chest, shoulder, triceps, which is in theory it's a push. It's all pushing movements. It's all pushing muscles. So again, we're only hitting chest once during the whole week, because my chest, not only do I have a very, very good mind muscle connection with it, it gets so sore for so long with very, very little volume. By the time that I'm done with day 6, then I'm fully recovered. But any of these other days here, I'm pretty much feeling my chest the entire time, and it's one of my stronger points. So I don't necessarily need to emphasize it, but I still need to have it I still need to make sure that I have it in my program, and that I'm still, maintaining the size there. My shoulders, again, aren't a lagging body part for me at all, so I want to make sure that I'm still hitting them, and frequently during the week. But it's never a focus of the workout. I just put them second over here, just because, again, I want to make sure that they do get a little bit of love as well, so that I'm still relatively strong when I'm doing this. Either way, the shoulder movement that I do on day 2 is still very push oriented. It's not like a front raise or a lateral. Keeping in theme with pushing to make sure that I'm still emphasizing a lot of that chest work. And then I finish with some triceps. Again, this is where this is the first day that I hit my triceps. Now it's at the end of the workout, and I know that by the end of the workout, I'm either checking out or I'm really tired by that time. That's why I'm going to be hitting it again later in the week, hammering it a lot harder. This allows me to still do an easier movement and be able to still draw a lot of blood in there, and potentially fatigue enough for it to get a little sore for me to be able to recover these next 2 days. Day 3, it's my pulling day number 1, or my back day number 1. The only reason why I don't call it a back day is because I do still hit my biceps here. So like I said before, again, my biceps 2 times a week. This is the first day that I hit my bicep. This is where I prioritize vertical pulling. So it's going to be mainly for my lats. So I'm focusing on my back width here. I'll do a few exercises here, and then I'll finish my day with my bicep training. Day 4 is legs number 2. By this time, my glutes, my hamstrings, and my quads are fully recovered. They probably recovered somewhere in between day 2 and day 3. Now here, I take away the quads, and I'm really emphasizing my glutes and my hamstrings. This is where I'm going to be doing a lot of hamstring work, but I'm still starting the workout with glutes, and I'm also going to finish the workout with glutes. I'm pretty much sandwiching my hamstring between my butt cheeks. This is where I'm going to be going really heavy on my hamstrings, where we're going to have that hinging motion, which is going to be an RDL, and be able to actually really hit it hard, because again, this day isn't one that's going to tax my hamstrings that much. And then from here, I'll have these 2 days plus the 7th day, so that when I get back on day 1, I'm ready to be able to hit it again. Day 5 is my arm day. This is my biceps, my triceps, and some shoulder work at the end. I switch back and forth from triceps this day. I'm gonna be usually start with triceps. My second movement is biceps, then I go back to triceps, and then I finish with biceps again, and then I do a shoulder work. This is where the laterals and the front raises, upright rows, and things are gonna start coming into play with my shoulders. to be able to complement this day, day two over here. By this time, my biceps and my triceps are fully recovered. I mean, it's been a few days since I've hit triceps here, and it's been a few days before, and it's been a couple days since I hit my biceps here. So by this time, I'm pretty solid to go, to be able to just hit my arms fully and go hard on them. Day 6 is my last day of the program. It's gonna be my second back day, or my second pull day. This is just my back. All I'm focusing on here is rowing motions and going as heavy and as hard as I possibly can on these rowing motions. Not worried about any other muscle this day. It's all about the thickness here for my back. I don't need to put my biceps in this day anymore because I just train them. They're usually, I mean, I'm usually sore in my biceps here, and that honestly helps me out a little bit. If I'm rowing and I'm feeling a lot of arms there, it gives me a little, it signals a little bit to me that I need to make sure that I'm really pulling more with my shoulders and not getting so much elbow in there. But yeah, it seems to work relatively well. I'm sore, but not so sore that I can't get some really good rowing in there. So this is the way that I set up my week, guys. I mean, this is what again, like I said, this is not set in stone by any means. This can change around a lot. This is nowhere near as specialized as I've gotten sometimes, where normally I will put my really, I'll train some of my weaker body parts more throughout the week to really emphasize them more. As of right now, this is just kind of how I'm starting my prep, and we're just gonna kind of kick that off with. Depending on how the prep goes, and as I start shedding some weight, I'll start actually seeing what I really need work on and what I don't, and what I can start laying off of a little bit more. But as of right now, this is what we got, and this is how we're gonna do it. This is how we do it. Hi, for the third time, let's build my plan. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna be on my phone, and I'm gonna screen record it. That way, you guys can see the exercise selection, the exercise order, and also the sets, the reps, and all that, and how it's built in the app that I use. All right, so let's get started. Fonzie, are you able to put up the screen recording, please?
Yeah, man.
Awesome, thank you, buddy.
There you go.
Looks sick, doesn't it? Yeah, it's
Yeah, sure, man.
Dude, with the attitude again, brother. Come on,
Dude,
man. Why do you always have to fucking suck all the fun out of it?
I'm fucking trying my best
just
here,
be happy
bro. What am
for
I
me,
doing?
Man. All right, let's get going, okay? This is the way that we begin the mesocycle, right? So we add the days and stuff here. So day 1, this is the leg day, right? So we start off by putting the muscle groups that we need. So the first one is glutes. The second one is hamstrings. Third one is going to be under quads. And the fourth one is the glutes as well. Day number 2 is the push day. So we got chest, 2 chest movements right off the bat. And then afterwards, we're going to do some shoulders as the third. And then we finish off with some triceps on here. The next day, we got some back, or a pull day. So we got back, 3 back movements, back, and then we're looking at biceps, and finishing with some shoulders. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Day 4 is looking like another leg day. So glutes first. Glutes. Then we got hamstrings. This is the hamstring focused leg day, because then we do another hamstring here, the RDL, and then we finish with glutes as well. Great. And then the 5th day is my arm day. So we're gonna start, this is where we're gonna flip-flop back and forth. So we're gonna do triceps first, because they're the most important. Then we got biceps, then we got another triceps, and then we got another biceps. And then we finish off with some shoulders as well. Okay, and on the last back day, this is thickness day, we got 4 back exercises back to back. Get it? Back to back. Back to back. Back, because it's back day, and we're doing back exercises. Oh, that's triceps. What the fuck did I do? 4. Yeah, perfect. All right, so we do day 1. So day 1 here, we're going to be looking at, I'll move this over here so it makes it easier for me. So day 1, we're going to be looking at glutes as the first exercise. I like to do an abduction first. So a machine abduction. So I like to do glutes first. It pre-exhausts my glutes. So pretty much everything that I do afterwards here, my glutes are already very, very fired up. It helps me keep that mind muscle connection with them there. My hamstrings. So this is the same thing that I'm planning on doing with my glutes, but with my hamstrings, I'm doing a lying leg curl. So again, same thing that I said for my glutes. It pre-exhausts my glutes. Laying hamstring curls will pre-exhaust my hamstrings. So for the third movement here, which is going to be a Smith machine squat, if my glutes and my hamstrings are pre-exhausted, when I get to this here, it's going to be a lot easier for me to use my glutes and hamstrings to help me do the movement. Plus, they're also going to be relatively fatigued, but I have my quads to help me push the weight at the end of the day. And then we're going to finish off with glute quote-unquote finisher as a machine hip thrust. Cool. This is just to sandwich the hamstrings and the quads in between my my glutes here again. Nice. Day 2 is chest day. We're going to start with a flat dumbbell press. Dumbbell press flat. Then we're going to go into a fly. So I'm going to use a machine fly for this. Machine fly. So the reason why I do these 2 movements here, dumbbell flat press, it's just for overall chest development. I'm not focusing on my chest during this mesocycle much at all. But when I do focus on it, I want to make sure that it's getting, I'm getting the entire part. If I do a lot of incline, then we're working a lot of upper chest, which I can take care of with my shoulder movement that I do here. If I do anything decline or whatever, then we're working lower. I want the whole shebang for my chest. Now, chest does 2 different movements, right? It pushes in every angle, and it also opens up and closes your arm. So I want to make sure that I get that involved in there too with the machine fly. The connection that I have with the machine fly is great. I'm able to really get in there and really feel my chest when I do it. For my shoulder here, we're keeping it under the press umbrella, right? So we're gonna do a machine shoulder press, machine shoulder press right here. And that is going to target my upper chest a little bit more and my entire shoulder pretty much. For triceps here, the last thing that we do is a tricep push down. So a bar, we do cable tricep push down. And that is, I've already used my triceps for my press here and my triceps for my shoulder press here. And this is just to kind of really finish them off, really give them a little bit more focus for the day. My third day, then we have back. This is my width day, if you guys remember. So I'm gonna start off with some straight arm pull downs. This is pretty much like a lat prayers, so keeping my arms straight, really focusing on that stretch of my lats. Again, it's the same idea as I did with the glutes. This is just going to pre-exhaust my lats and get my lats really fired up. So when I do all these other more compound movements, my lats are the ones that are really going to be able to engage and or feel that a little bit more, is what I have found. So after that, then we're going to do some wide pull downs. So pull downs, wide grip, and then we're going to do narrow cable grip. There we go. So here we do 2 pull down. Now this wide pull down isn't as wide as one would think. I'm just gonna go a little bit further out than my shoulders.
That's going to keep my elbow drive right next to me, which should help me engage my lats a lot more. After that, we're changing the grip into a close grip, and then we're pulling again straight through. I'm using a little bit of a wider grip than what your normal narrow grip looks like. I'm kind of grabbing a little bit further out here, so I'm able to still pull those elbows right next to me. After that, we're gonna finish with some preacher curls, machine preachers, machine preacher curl. And for laterals, we're gonna do a machine lateral raise. Why I choose machine lateral, god damn it. Why I choose machine lateral raise here instead of dumbbells is because by this time I'm very systemically fatigued, very psychologically fatigued by doing those three back movements. So it's nice to just be able to use a pin-loaded machine to avoid more loading and unloading of bars, and just kind of get to the point, a little less warm-ups I need and all that stuff. It lets me get through this pretty fast. Then we're on day 4, getting to that leg day again. This is primarily my hamstring day, right? So we don't really hit quads at all here like we did that first day with the squat. So this day here, we're gonna start off with a kickback. Machine glute kickback, perfect. Then the hamstring curl that we're gonna do is a single leg, single leg curl. And then the hamstring exercise that we're gonna do is a stiff-legged deadlift with a barbell or an RDL. And then we're gonna finish again with some glutes at the very end with some more abductions. I've tried cable abductions. I don't feel them as much in my glutes as the machine one. And again, at the end of the workout, all I want to do is be able to sit there, move the pin, and just get it done. The rep ranges on both of these days are going to be different because one, I start off very, very fresh, and so I'm stronger and I'm able to kind of push a little bit more weight, do a little bit more reps. On day 4 here, my glutes are going to be relatively fatigued. My body's just fatigued by the end, so this rep range is going to be different as well. But yeah, same idea. Glutes at the very end, but glutes at the beginning, glutes at the end, and then we got 2 hamstring movements in between that there. A leg curl first to kind of really start drawing blood into that muscle, and then we have an RDL to make sure that we're going really heavy, really emphasizing that hinge that I talked about before. And this is where I'm really going to try to really go heavy on the hamstring. Day number 5 is arm day. Again, tricep, bicep, tricep, bicep. So we'll start with rope pull downs on this one. Cable tricep pull downs with a rope. For biceps, this one switches back and forth depending on what's available, but I do like to do a free motion curl facing away from the machine. After that, then we do an overhead. Overhead, right here. Cable overhead tricep extension. And then we finish with some bicep curls, 2 arms. And then for shoulders on here, we then do some dumbbell laterals. As soon as we're already there with the biceps, we just start doing those. We finish up with some laterals there. Nothing very special on this arm day here. Rope push downs for me have always been a gold standard. I love the way that my triceps are able to feel the rope pull down. It really draws blood in there really fast, warms up the hell out of my elbows, really gets me into the mindset, and I'm able to see a nice progression with the rope. So that's why I use that. The free motion curl facing away from the machine, I haven't been doing this one for very long, but since I discovered it, holy hell, I swear to God, the way that it stretches your bicep, the way that you're able to draw blood into it, the way that it's more difficult on the stretch. I mean, it's a awesome movement for me. As of right now, it's one of my favorite bicep movements. It gets me so sore for days on end, which is great. the tricep exercise is now, since we did 2 tricep movements throughout the week now, one with the bar push down, one with the rope pull down, we want something that's overhead now. So this is where I use a machine overhead tricep extension. Again, pin loaded, easy, and I'll be able to get to straight to the point. From there, we finish with the old school dumbbell 2-arm curl. That one, again, very straightforward, very easy. As long as we're able to keep the form the same throughout the weeks, we're able to see nice progression on these as well. And then, again, since we're already there with the dumbbells, just finish up some laterals to stimulate the the shoulders a little bit more. Day 6, last day, is back day. Again, this is straight back. Then we start here with our reverse pull down underhand. And then we go with high machine row. Up. High machine row. And then we do a cable seated row. And then we'll finish off with a T-bar. T-bar. No, guess it wants me to do here we go, a T-bar row. Okay, so I have found that doing underhand straight pull downs, again, get my lats into a really nice place. I want to still be able to hit my lats, even though this is the day for thickness. I want to still stimulate the hell out of my lats, so the best time to do it is right at the beginning, so that the rest of the movements here, even though I'm going to be targeting, again, more of the middle part of my back, my lats are still able to really feel the fatigue there. Exercise number 2 is a high row. So again, now we start the rows, still incorporating some form of pull down through the lat, since it's really high and I gotta pull through. My lat is still gonna get a lot of stretch there, but slowly transitioning into more of those, more of the thickness movements. Again, and then we did exercise number 3. We have a seated cable row. Seated cable row, I'll grab a neutral grip bar that's not necessarily too far, kind of about a little bit wider than shoulder width, and I pull through there, so to be able to hit more of the middle part of my back, more of my traps. And then we finished up with a T-bar row. Since I went in close with the cable row, with a T-bar row, I go out wide and I pull really high up, kind of pulling through my chest, so that I'm able to feel the rhomboids in my traps a little bit more. Cool. So that is exactly the whole week there. So now when we create the mesocycle, on here we're gonna put Fonzie. What? Goddamn. Fonzie. We'll go prep 1. We're gonna put this program to run for 4 weeks. So here I want to take a little bit of time to talk about intensity and how I structure the intensity throughout the program. If science has shown that from 3 reps in reserve or 3 reps left in the tank to 0 reps in reserve or failure is where muscles are stimulated enough to grow, we want to make sure that we stay within those rep ranges throughout the entirety of a program. So if we're going to be doing 4 weeks, including a deload, that means that the first 3 weeks are going to be a progressive overload. Now during prep, I don't tend to do deloads, so I'm going to be skipping that, especially that first deload. If I feel like I need it later in the prep, then we can start talking about deloading. But as of right now, the way that this works, if the program is 3 weeks long and or 4 weeks long, we start off week 1 with 2 to 3 reps in reserve. Again, depending on how long the program is, let's say that by just for the sake of the program, let's say that we're going to do 4 weeks of progressive overload. Week 1 would be 3 reps in reserve. Week 2 would be 2 reps in reserve. Week 3 would be 1 rep in reserve, and week 4 would be 0 reps in reserve or failure. Now, just because we're leaving reps in reserve doesn't mean that those weeks are going to be easy. 3 reps in reserve is really tough. You're literally that close to failure. Your body is being pushed a lot. This doesn't mean that you go in there and you just kind of dilly-dally. you want to actually get as close to 3 reps in reserve to failure. Failure means your body cannot do another rep. Pulling 3 reps behind of that is still a really intense set. Well, now also, a lot of you might ask, why not just do failure every single week, every single workout? If we do failure every single workout, every single day, every single week, your body takes, not only does it take a beating, but it's very tough to keep progressing through that. How do you progress from one week to another, from failure to failure? You gotta allow your body to have time to recover enough to be able to get strong. So if we're staying within that rep range, again, we're still stimulating growth from 3 reps in reserve to failure. So there's very small difference on what happens within these reps if you're actually staying within them. That's the tough part. That's the part that people have to learn. The part that I still have to keep learning and or master. So we push hard every single day. You work hard, but you want to make sure that you're not hitting failure every single time. It's going to be very taxing for your body, and it's going to it could potentially delay some days there just because your body still hasn't fully recovered. That's how we go through the progression for the weeks. So if we get back on the phone here, so I'm actually going to do 5 weeks since I'm not doing a deload. This is going to give me 4 weeks of progression, and then the 5th week technically would be the deload, which I most likely will skip on this first phase of the mesocycle here. So then we go ahead and create. Once it's created, again, the RP app will put the sets at the as you can see, it says 3 RR, 3 reps in reserve, and it allows me to put the weight that I want on here, and it's going to give me the opportunity to put my reps there. So now I have a place to track how much weight, how many reps I get week for week for week. And this is what the mesocycle ends up looking like here. Day 1 through day 6. And as you can see, week 1 is 3 reps in reserve, week 2 is 2 reps in reserve, week 3 is 1 rep in reserve, and week 4 is 0 reps in reserve. And then you have your deload here, which is technically 8 reps in reserve. But this is how I keep track of my workouts. That's day 1. Right here is day 2. And I can always, so for example, here, my machine fly, it's giving me two sets. I'm going to go ahead and take one away because we're only doing 1 set for the machine fly, 1 working set of machine fly. And I'll show you guys how those working sets and those warm-ups work. But yeah, this is how I go about it, and this is the program. And then the nice thing about the RP app is that it naturally progresses me. Once I finish day 1, I'll write all the stuff, all my weights and all of that. When I go to week 2, day 1, it's already going to have the new weights and the new reps set up for me for what it recommends. What the AI that's integrated into the app recommends to see progression. I can always change it. I can always do more reps. I can always do more weight than it tells me, or less, or whatever it is. Nothing is ever set in stone with the app, but it gives me a very good idea of what I should aim for. It gives me that goal. I'll show you. I'll keep working with the app here, and I'll be showing you guys as we go through the mesocycle. But that's pretty much it. We should be able to go from there. Now we can actually close out the video the way that my idiot ass said it in the first clip. Welcome to the channel again. Welcome to the prep. We got 20 weeks of this shit, and yeah, I hope you stick around, see how the progression works, see how the program goes, and how I change the program, how my body reacts to it or doesn't react to it, and what's on my mind as I lift and as I go throughout the day. The next video that I'll be putting up is my nutrition, and I'll take you guys on kind of like a day on how I eat. Again, thank you, and that's all, folks. Whoa!